All right, operator overall just did a pretty cool video showing him shooting his 590 shockwave with the Wooks furniture set and hurting his shoulder on a 1.25 ounce slug. These things do have some kick to them, right? I think we all know that. Check that video out and be warned, the furniture set he has on his 590 shockwave is going to take a tax stamp. I mean, that gun looks awesome, but you got to remember, you're going to be dropping a couple $100 on the tax stamp, and then you're going to be paying for that Wooks furniture set. And I haven't looked into it yet, but I'm sure it's, I don't know, probably $400 or $500, maybe even $600 for that furniture set. Excuse me there, Meeshers. It does make for a awesome looking and running 590. I am sure of that. Mine has what these come with, this bird head grip or whatever they're calling it. So I got lucky. We're going to talk about the different configurations that these come in. Pretty much this is the choosing the right Mossberg 590 starter set video, because these really are a starter set. No matter what configuration you get these in, you're gonna be, I mean, you're gonna be paying to make this thing what you actually want it to be. There's room for improvement on all of them. Mossberg has made sure of that, and that might be part of the reason why they were having issues at SHOT Show this year. Their booth got absolutely crapped on by a bunch of different YouTubers. It's not like they were coming around and asking about the gun. They were coming around and being like, hey, what's the meaning of life, right? There's really no good answers that their rep could give. And just to be a little more, specific about it, they would come around and instead of being like, oh, show me the new features on the shockwaves that you guys are selling this year, they would come around and be like, hey, tell me why this gun's practical. And they were difficult questions to answer for that rep. I don't know what that lady's name is. It's funny, she kind of reminded me of my ex-girlfriend's mom, who was like a ball buster for DuPont with her, 3-piece suit, her dress suit. Either way, that lady and the Mossberg booth from SHOT Show made its way to quite a few YouTube videos, and they were all like the worst of SHOT Show. Now, as a result of that, I managed to get this Mossberg on sale, and this is the first time I've actually seen these 590s on an actual real sale. So, yeah, their fumble is my gain, right? Give you guys a quick background on how this came to be. I was checking all the sales. I saw that it was a 590. I saw that it was actually on sale for, I think this was like 3.5 shekels. All right. These are usually 6 or 7. So, I mean, like a couple years ago, I was looking at one of these and I was almost ready to drop 6.5 bills to pick one of these up. And I decided to go with something else. So to see one of these for 3.5, something like that, I didn't even read the description. I just saw that it was like the outline of a 590 and was like, all right, let's get it through the cart. So when this thing showed up and I actually got to take a look at it, I actually scored, right? I was expecting to get the base model 590 with the plastic pump and strap. This one came with this, what do they call this? Like the rip and roar, the rock and shock, something. It pretty much comes with this chainsaw handle thing. This isn't for me, but I might leave it on here because then other family members could actually use this thing. So there is a plus to that. But the real winner here is this does come with a 1913 pick rail right here, and it does come with M-lock on the pump, right? It is on the pump, so there's some downside to that. And pretty much what I mean is, if I'm going to shoot slugs out of this, and this is why I was bringing up the other dude's video, because he was shooting slugs, putting a laser on this just isn't going to do, because the pump wiggles so much. It might work for birdshot and like buckshot, anything that has like a nice spread to it. That laser will just kind of be a guesstimate of around where you're going to be shooting. But if I'm going to shoot slugs out of this, I'm going to want a laser that is concretely mounted somewhere near the barrel where it's not going to be moving around like this pump is back and forth, right? Because there's a lot of wiggle room here. So, and that's kind of what I'm talking about. Like, you need to figure out what you're going to do with one of these. And I think a lot of people are going to want a laser on this because, I mean, your aiming solution is like one of the first things that you need to worry about with these. How are you going to aim this thing? I mean, let's look at what it actually comes with out of the box. It comes with that little guy. That's it. There's no rear post of any sort. And I think they did that on purpose because I think Mossberg's trying to sell them for 130 speckles for like something that goes on here, and it's like a ring that you look through and you line up your little brass bead here, and you know that's where your shotgun shell is going. The problem is most people are not going to be able to shoot this shotgun and actually aim down the barrel of this thing. Holding this up in front of your face, you're going to be going to the dentist the very next day. There's already quite a few videos of people shooting these and busting themselves in the face, okay? Now, I'm not saying that nobody can do it. Sure, there's some 350-pound Giga Chads out there that are not affected by 12 gauge recoil at all, and they're just absolute monsters. They can hold these right in front of their face and just poop, take their shot, right? I can hold this in front of my face and aim and take a shot, but it's not something that I would want to do in a self-defense situation, because even though I can do that, I've noticed that I have to brace myself before I take that shot. So because of that, even I'm going to shoot this thing from the hip. And as a result, I want a laser mounted on here somewhere. So it's going to tell me right where my slug is going. And I'm not going to have to brace myself before each shot or, you know, risk going to the dentist the next day. So they sell these in a bunch of different configurations. I will say this, I got lucky. This was one of the better ones. All right, I will say that. I have no complaints at all, especially for the price that I got this thing for. At least this configuration with this tactical pump is what we'll call it. At least this is going to let you mount a light to it. So you're kind of halfway there, right? And obviously it will let you mount this this chainsaw handle. Now again, I think this can be achieved with just one of those, geez, what are they called? I have one over here, my other shotgun. Let's take a look real quick. So one of these guys, just one of these little grips that's adjustable like this, that locks. I would just put one of these right here. I would just mount it here, and I'd have a little grip here to pull on the pump, and then if I want to hold the shotgun sideways, which is something that I do with these, I can press that button, I can adjust that grip and get a different angle on it, and I would be pumping this thing that way. And I could also mess with the controls on this. I do have to say though, my 135-pound girlfriend, she's gonna want this thing. If she's gonna shoot this, she's gonna want this thing here. It's gonna make all the difference in the world for her. So part of me just wants to leave this thing here. Another part of me wants to rip this off and just put, you know, one of those little grips down here. Either way, this is all something that you have to plan for. At the end of the day, I'm still gonna have to put a laser on here. Right? And the only way that I found that I can do that competently is by going through what are they called? Black Aces Tactical Shotgun, whatever that shop's called. They make a rail, right? It bolts in somewhere here, and it's a 1913 pick rail that goes all the way down here. And yeah, I can mount a laser to that. It even gives you like some side mount Picatinny rail over here, because it's going to cover all this. That would let me put a laser on here, and it would be concretely mounted to this thing, and it wouldn't be wobbling with the pump, right? That's another 200 speckles to do that. For those of you that have been, you know, keeping tabs on the math, most of these shotguns run around 600, especially in this configuration with this. Throw on another 200, and then you can mount a laser, right? And then pay another 200 for a tack stamp, and then go buy that Wooks furniture set. That's probably $500 or $600. And then after you're approved, of course, you can put a stock on this thing, and they're awesome, right? I mean, you're in it for like, I don't know, $1,600 at that point, but they're pretty awesome, right? So what I'm saying is they have a few different models of these, and one of them already comes with some kind of laser device that you can hook up here. You might want to look into that one, especially if you know you are not going to be, you know, paying for a tack stamp, and you're going to be firing this thing from the hip. You might want the one with the laser right here. That way you don't have to spend $200 on a rail to mount your laser. And then maybe just see if you can pick up one of these tactical pumps and attach a flashlight here, right? You could even do a pistol light, put it right here instead of like a full-size light that I got. I think that would work pretty well, and that's probably going to be most people's best bet, to not pay over $1,000 for one of these. And this kind of sheds a little bit of light on why Mossberg is having issues with these, I think, because we're talking about pretty much $1,000 shotgun once you get it the way that you want it, and that's, you know, damn near what it's going to cost to get you there. When you're talking about adding so much to it just to put a laser on it, if you didn't get that base model that has the laser on it, right? Here are a bunch of shotguns that are competing with the Mossberg. This is the VRPF-14. It comes with a rear sight right here, and oh look, it comes with a rail that you can put a laser on. Look at that. This is right out of the box, right? This did not cost $600. It never did. I think these are like under 200 speckles. And all you do is just mount your laser. You're good to go. And there's a fiber optic up there. You can make them align, and now your fiber optic glows in the dark, and you didn't pay anything extra to do that. So I think that's part of the reason why Mossberg is struggling with these things. And I finally got an opportunity to get one that's actually reduced in price. And then we have the Hot Sun. This comes out of the box shoulderable, which is a huge advantage. It also comes with a rail and a rear sight. Pretty hard to compete with this one when you can shoulder this right out of the box without buying a Wooks furniture set and paying $200 for a tack stamp. Right, and then even this one, this Tokarov, is more of a full-size shotgun. It's not as compact. Still though, even these are around 200 speckles. So Mossberg really needs to step it up, or they need to come down in price a little bit, in my opinion. I will say this though, this Mossberg clearly has a thicker barrel, and it's a really tanky shotgun. Like, I'll give it that. I had to pump this thing 1,500 times to break it in. So very tanky internals. These things are bulletproof for whatever that's worth to you. And I guess that's what you're paying so much for. It really just should come with some sort of rail already up here without forcing people to go buy aftermarket stuff. That all being said, I thought about upgrading one of these with the Wooks furniture set myself and getting a stock for it, and I won't do that with this one. They make a magazine-fed version of this shotgun, and if I ever see that one on sale for anywhere near this price, I will pick that up and I will go get the tax stamp for it, and I will go get a stock on it. I really do like these with the magazine. I mean, it really just deals with the main shortcoming that these shotguns have, and that is reloading and keeping this thing fed. It takes some skill and practice to do that. So I think having a magazine that you can just clip in and you can swap mags on the go, instead of having to hand load rounds in here, shells, after each shot, or whenever you get a chance to get some cover and replenish your 5-round magazine tube that's in here. That is pretty much what's stopping me from getting the Wooks furniture set myself and dropping the $200 tax stamp. As awesome as these look, I didn't get the right one, right? So something else you might want to think about, if you are not good at feeding and loading a shotgun, you might want to look at the magazine fed version of this. That is an option out there. Aside from that, the rest of them, let's see, there's one with a laser. There's this one that comes with, the chainsaw handle and the upgraded pump. And there is a wooden furniture one where it just comes with like a wooden handle and it comes with a wooden pump. It looks cool. I would go with this one over all of the generic models, aside from the laser one and the magazine fed one. So I got lucky. I got one of the top 3 choices that I would have chose myself anyway. And back to this handle right here, it's not necessarily for me, but it does make it much easier to fire this thing from the hip, right? If one of my other family members needs to use this thing in an emergency, I'm going to want this thing here for them. I'm a 235-pound guy. I can handle this thing just fine, but my oldest son is like 165 pounds. My girlfriend's like 135 pounds. So having this handle here gives you a lot more control and stability. And sometimes it's not about you shooting the gun, it's also about how your family members could use this gun in an emergency, especially if you're buying one of these for home defense. So really think these things through before you have to turn them into a small money pit to get them where you want them. They are really cool little shotguns in concept. I've wanted one of these for a while. Obviously I have a few of them over there. This is kind of like the OG of them. So yeah, that's what I have to say about this and choosing the right one. And hopefully that helped anybody out there that is going through and making that decision right now on which one of these Mossbergs that they want. Ultimately, a lot of people are probably just going to pick whichever one up they see on sale. Right? I was more than happy to get the stock version of this for the price that I paid for it. And then I was going to get the rail for it anyway. But I lucked out and got this thing and the upgraded pump. So yeah, I figured I would talk about it and hopefully save some people out there some money that are thinking about a setup like this as well. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed. I will see you at the range. I'm going to be doing a lot of testing on this thing. It feeds really well. I will say that. I've already ran a bunch of shells through it. It feeds very well, but I haven't had any feeding issues with my other shotguns either. And these typically, I could buy 3 of those for one of these. So I'm going to be comparing them, and we'll see whichever one of these comes out on top. That Hot Sun's really hard to beat, right? Even though this thing is tanky and durable, the Hot Sun comes out of the box and it can be shouldered. That's a pretty big advantage when you are hawking 12 gauge shells downrange. Being able to shoulder and have that much more control, I don't know. I'll see you guys at the review vid, or I'll see you at the range, and have an awesome day.